Hello, my friends. My name is Gerdes, and this is the Daily Brief. So we see 1,060 Russians off the battlefield. This is today, February 28th. I want you to look at a couple of other numbers as well. 14 tanks off the battlefield. That means replacement values at 3 per day, according to Russia, and that means that 4 days of tanks, almost 5 days of tanks are off the battlefield. That's a good day. Armored combat vehicles, 14, and then look at vehicles and fuel tanks, plus 47 off the battlefield. But the big number is 2 military jets. I reported on 1 yesterday, and I'll explain why what happened. Let's look at this. Jay from Kyiv says, not without U.S. help, Ukraine continues dismantling America's #1 geopolitical enemy with cheap plastic drones. And there's something to that. A lot of what has happened has been just these little DJI drones. I mean, that's innovating the battlefield, the military space, like ChatGPT is innovating digitally in the world. Okay, so Ukrainian forces withdraw from 2 more villages in the east. They kind of have to. There's really, if you simply don't have the weapons to defend and you have to keep pulling back, especially across like woods and farmland, you just have to. Ukraine's military said its forces have withdrawn from 2 more villages near Avdiivka. These villages are Sepov and Severny. Okay, where are they? So here's a map of where we were. And just about 2 weeks ago, something like that, it was, and when you zoom in, you can see that Avdiivka was city, and this is like farmland as you move out. So they're taking ground. Let's go back and look at where they're going. So to 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and that's where we are on the 28th, Severny and Sepove. So this was taken, but this is like largely farmland. There's no real fight there. So they're going to spread throughout here until they hit some defensive lines. Okay. Now, a week ago, the Ukrainians took this A50 down, and an A50 is really important. It's like an AWAC in our inventory in NATO. The second A50 destroyed in as many months. Russia began operating A50 aircraft over the Sea of Azov in November 2023. On 14 January 2024, Ukraine successfully targeted an A50 in that area. This forced Russian decision makers to consider safer operating areas for the aircraft. This latest Ukrainian success has demonstrated continued Russian inability to protect high-value air assets, and it brings into question the efficacy of Russian air planners. Now, the real issue with the A50 is that they have only 7 operational airframes, so they can replace that, but the trick is that they are going to lose the air crew as well. The loss of 2 experienced specialist mission crews, as well as many months, highly likely to induce further strain and combat fatigue on the remaining force if they are able to sustain constant operations. It's likely that Russian Air Force will again consider different operating locations, but Ukraine is demonstrating an ability to adapt quickly and continues to pose a threat. Now, the A-50 controls combat operations in the air, and yesterday I talked about how there was a SU-34 knocked down. Well, a second Su-34 was hit that day, and I missed it, and the reason that I missed it was when it hit. According to the Air Force, the second plane was down around 2 p.m. local time. 2 p.m. local time is +7 my time, my daily I do the daily brief in the morning, and then I do a later brief, 3 big stories later in the day, and I missed it because it was 9 o'clock. I had already done the 3 big stories before that. So yeah, 2 Su-34s, and we saw that reflected right here. And so that was a good day for the Ukrainian Air Force. So when we see that, now here's Anna's introduction to this, and I thought this was wonderful. It's worth watching.
Monotonous content can be harmful for any YouTube channel. Sure, but there is one type of content that I am ready to repeat every day. And these are the updates about more and more and more of Russian aircraft destroyed in Ukrainian skies. Because what was they doing there? Today we have destroyed 2 Russian Sus, 2 aircraft in just 1 day. And if we look back at February, we will see that Ukrainian army managed to destroy more than a dozen of Russian, very important, very expensive, and very evil jets.
And it's better than that, actually, because if we look at this again, we can see that Russia has lost 340 planes since the beginning of the full-scale invasion on February 24th, 2022. That's larger than the entire Air Force, planes, helicopters, whatever Ukraine had. Ukraine had about 250 total when the war actually began, and so that's what Ukraine has destroyed since then. Last little bit here. Russia claims this is St. Javelin. Russia claims to have the best stuff, but they capture a Bradley and proceed to look at 1970s equipment like it's alien technology. Ooh, okay. That's all that I have today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.